If you're over 60 and you've ever had a close call, a stumble, a wobble, a moment where you caught yourself just in time, there's a very good chance it happened in your living room. Most people assume the bathroom or kitchen are the dangerous zones, with their wet floors and hard edges. But clinicians who work with older adults know something different. The living room is where people relax, where the lights are low, where you move on autopilot without really watching your feet. It's where small hazards hide in plain sight, where one slight misstep can trigger what I call a fall cascade. That moment when trying to recover from one stumble sends you into furniture, off balance, and onto the floor. Tonight, I want to show you exactly what those hazards are and give you a simple fix tonight plan that takes about 10 to 20 minutes but can protect your mobility, your confidence, and your independence for years to come. This isn't about turning your home into a clinical space. It's about making smart, practical changes that let you live comfortably while staying safe. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Drop your age in the comments and tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing how far this community reaches. And if you're a caregiver watching this for a parent or loved one, type the word caregiver so I know you're here too. Your perspective matters enormously, and the tips I share today work whether you're making changes for yourself or helping someone you care about. Let's start with what's probably under your feet right now if you're sitting in your living room. Rugs. I want to be very clear about something. Rugs are not inherently dangerous, and I'm not going to tell you to remove every soft surface from your home. What I am going to tell you is that certain rug situations create genuine trip hazards that catch people every single day. The edges of area rugs, especially older ones, tend to curl upward over time. You walk across that rug 1,000 times and nothing happens. And then one evening, you're carrying a cup of tea to your chair, your slipper catches that curled corner, and suddenly you're pitching forward with no free hand to catch yourself. Layered mats are another issue. I see constantly a smaller decorative rug placed on top of a larger carpet or a bathroom-style mat that someone put in front of a favorite chair. These layers shift and bunch, creating uneven surfaces that your foot doesn't expect. And then there are the slippery throws, those thin decorative rugs placed on hardwood or tile floors that slide the moment you put weight on them at an angle. The fix tonight is straightforward. Walk through your living room and check every rug edge with your hand. If corners are curling, you can flatten them with double-sided carpet tape, which costs a few dollars and takes seconds to apply. If you have layered mats, pick one and remove the other. If any rug slides when you step on it, either add a non-slip pad underneath or remove it entirely for now. This is not about perfection. It's about removing the obvious traps. One well-secured rug is fine. A patchwork of loose, shifting, curling floor coverings is an accident waiting to happen. Now I want you to think about the path you take when you get up from your couch or chair to answer the door or walk to the kitchen. Picture that route in your mind. Is it a clear, open runway, or is it an obstacle course? Clutter catch points are one of the most underestimated hazards in any living room, and what makes them tricky is that we stop seeing them. Your brain edits out the basket of magazines by the couch, the pair of shoes kicked off near the coffee table, the grandkids' toys that ended up under the side chair, the stack of books you've been meaning to put away for 2 weeks. You've navigated around these objects so many times that you don't consciously register them anymore. But here's what happens. One evening, you're getting up quickly because the phone is ringing, or you're walking to the door at dusk when the light is fading, and your foot finds that basket or catches on that shoe. The fall happens before your brain has time to process the obstacle. Cords and charging cables deserve special attention here because they've become so common in modern living room. Phone chargers trailing across the floor, extension cords running from outlets to lamps, tablet cables snaking between furniture. Every one of these is a potential snag point. Your foot catches the cord, you stumble, and the stumble pulls whatever is plugged in off the table, adding a falling object to the chaos. The fix tonight is what I call clearing the runway. Stand at your main seat and identify your 3 most common walking paths to the door, to the kitchen, to the bathroom. Then physically walk those paths and remove everything that doesn't need to be there. Push shoes against walls or into closets. Relocate baskets to corners where you don't walk. Pick up anything on the floor that isn't furniture. For cords, either run them along baseboards where feet don't go, tape them down with cord covers, or reroute them entirely so they don't cross walking paths. This takes 5 minutes, and it transforms your living room from an obstacle course into an open, navigable space. Let me talk about the furniture itself, because even beautiful, expensive, well-made pieces can become fall hazards based on where they're placed and how you interact with them. Coffee tables are one of the most common culprits, especially low coffee tables with sharp corners, positioned right in the walking path between seating areas. When you stand up from a soft couch, there's often a moment of slight unsteadiness as your blood pressure adjusts and your balance centers. If that coffee table is close, your shin finds it, or you bump it while trying to step around, and suddenly you're off balance with a hard obstacle right at knee level. Ottomans and footstools present similar challenges. They're low enough that you might not see them in peripheral vision, and they're often placed exactly where you're trying to walk. The fix here isn't necessarily removing these pieces, it's about placement awareness. Tonight, sit in your usual seat and then stand up the way you normally would. Notice how close the nearest furniture is to your path. If you're having to sidestep immediately upon standing, something needs to move. Push that coffee table back an extra 6 inches. Relocate that ottoman so it's not in the direct walking line. Create what I call a launch zone, a clear space directly in front of wherever you sit so you can stand, steady yourself, and then begin walking without immediately navigating around obstacles. This is especially important if you use any kind of walking aid, because walkers and canes need room to maneuver. Here's something I want you to think about carefully. When you lose your balance, what do you grab? Everyone has an instinct to reach for something stable when they feel themselves tipping or stumbling. The problem is that not everything within reach is actually stable. I see patients who grabbed a side table only to have it tip over with them. I hear about falls that happened when someone reached for a chair that swiveled or rolled. That decorative plant stand, that lightweight occasional table, that swivel rocker, that rolling cart you use for remotes, none of these should ever be support objects. But in a moment of crisis, your hands don't stop to assess furniture engineering. They grab whatever is closest. The fix tonight is a quick stability test. Put your hand on every piece of furniture along your walking paths and give it a firm push. Does it wobble? Does it roll? Does it tip? If yes, either move it away from areas where you might reach for it or replace it with something solid. The ideal support objects in a living room are heavy, stable pieces that could bear your full weight. If you suddenly needed to grab them, solid armchairs with sturdy frames, heavy bookcases against walls, countertops, stable dining chairs. If your favorite reading chair has wobbly legs, tonight is the night to tighten those screws, or move it until you can get it repaired. If your side table is a lightweight piece that would tip if you leaned on it, position it where it won't tempt you to grab it in an emergency. This is about making sure that if you ever need to catch yourself, the things within reach will actually help rather than making everything worse. Let's talk about something that affects everyone but gets worse as we age. Lighting. Your eyes at 60 or 70 need significantly more light to see clearly than they did at 30, and they take longer to adjust when moving between bright and dark areas. Here's a scenario I encounter regularly in my clinical work. Someone is watching television in the evening with all the lamps turned off, because the bright screen provides enough light to see the couch and the remote. Then they get up to answer the door or get a drink, and suddenly they're walking through a dark room with eyes that are adapted to that bright TV screen. For several seconds, they genuinely cannot see obstacles on the floor, changes in flooring surface, or furniture edges. This is when falls happen. Glare is the other side of this equation, when a single bright light source creates harsh contrast with dark shadows, making it hard to see depth and edges clearly. The fix tonight involves what I call lighting the path. Your living room should have enough ambient light that you can see the floor clearly at all times, even while watching TV. This might mean leaving one lamp on low during viewing, installing a small night light along your walking path, or using bias lighting behind the TV to reduce eye strain and keep your eyes more adapted to moderate light levels. When you get up to move through the room, you should be able to see every step clearly. If there's a dark zone between your chair and the hallway, that's where a small plug-in light belongs. If your only lamp is across the room and you have to walk through darkness to reach it, consider a remote-controlled outlet so you can turn it on before you stand. Smart bulbs that dim gradually are another excellent option. The goal is eliminating those moments when you're moving through space you can't clearly see. I need to mention something that might seem light-hearted, but is genuinely serious: pets and surprise obstacles. If you have a cat or dog, you love them, and I'm absolutely not suggesting you change that. But pets are unpredictable, and they have a particular talent for positioning themselves exactly where you're about to step, especially when you're getting up from furniture or walking to the kitchen where food might be involved. I've seen falls caused by dogs lying in walkways where they blend into the carpet, by cats darting between ankles at the worst possible moment, by leashes left trailing across floors. Beyond pets, modern living rooms often contain other moving surprises: robotic vacuums that start their cleaning cycle and roll into your path, grandchildren's toys that make noise when you step on them and startle you, items that have been moved since you last walked through the room. The fix tonight is developing what I call a surprise obstacle mindset. Before you stand up, glance down and confirm the floor is clear. Know where your pet is before you start walking. If you have a robotic vacuum, schedule it to run only when you're not moving through the room, or keep it in a different area. When family has visited, do a quick scan before you walk your usual paths. Kids' toys have a way of ending up in exactly the wrong spots. This isn't about anxiety or constant vigilance. It's about building a quick habit of checking before moving, the same way you'd check your mirrors before changing lanes while driving. There's one more hazard I want to address, and it's not about objects in the room, it's about behavior. Reaching and rushing are two of the most common fall triggers in any living space. The remote control falls on the floor, and you lean over to grab it from your chair rather than standing up properly to retrieve it. The phone rings and you push up quickly from a soft couch, moving before your blood pressure has adjusted, before your balance has stabilized. Someone's at the door, and you hurry across the room without watching where your feet are going. You're carrying a drink in one hand and trying to navigate around furniture with your balance already compromised by the shifted center of gravity. Each of these situations is completely normal, completely common, and completely preventable with small adjustments. Tonight, place your most used items, the remote, your phone, your glasses, your drink, on surfaces you can reach without bending over or twisting. If something falls on the floor and isn't urgent, leave it there until you can stand up properly, stabilize, and then retrieve it safely, or use a reacher tool if you have one. When the phone rings or someone knocks, give yourself permission to take a breath before you move. Let them wait an extra 3 seconds while you stand up slowly and deliberately. When you're carrying something, slow down and pay attention to the floor. Or better yet, put the item down, walk to where you're going, and then come back for it. These are not signs of aging, they're signs of wisdom. The person who moves carefully and deliberately falls far less often than the person who moves without thinking. I'd love to know which of these hazards resonates most with you right now. Drop a comment and tell me. Is it the rugs, the cords and clutter, the lighting situation, the furniture placement, the pets, or the rushing behavior? Understanding your own biggest risk is the first step toward fixing it, and your comment might also help someone else realize they're not alone in facing that particular challenge. Now, let me give you a simple self-check you can do after this video, a living room walkthrough test that takes about 2 minutes and tells you a lot about your current setup. First, make sure all your lights are on at full brightness. Then, stand at one end of your living room, near your main seat, and walk at a normal pace to the doorway or entrance to another room. Walk back. As you do this, pay attention to 3 things. Did you have to sidestep around any objects? Did you step over any cords, rug edges, or items on the floor? Did you reach out and touch any furniture for support? If the answer to any of these is yes, you've just identified exactly where your fixes need to happen. Sidestepping means something is in your walking path that shouldn't be. Stepping over means there's a trip hazard on the floor. Reaching for furniture means either you needed support, which might warrant a conversation with your doctor about balance, or you wanted support but grabbed something unstable, which means your support furniture needs to be evaluated. This isn't a diagnostic test, it's an awareness exercise. But the information it gives you is genuinely valuable. Before I share your Fix Tonight action plan, let me briefly mention when you need more than living room adjustments. If you've fallen more than once in the past year, if you've had several near falls where you caught yourself, if you've noticed new weakness in your legs or new unsteadiness that wasn't there before, please talk to your doctor or ask for a referral to a physical therapist who specializes in balance and fall prevention. These professionals can assess whether something medical is contributing to your fall risk and give you personalized interventions that go far beyond room arrangement. And there are certain symptoms that require urgent attention. Tonight, not tomorrow. If you experience chest pain, fainting, severe dizziness that doesn't pass quickly, new weakness on one side of your body, sudden confusion, sudden severe headache, or anything that looks like stroke symptoms, call emergency services immediately. Those are not fall prevention issues. Those are medical emergencies that need immediate care. I mention this because sometimes people fall due to underlying medical events, and that's a situation where room modifications won't help you need clinical attention. Now, here's your Fix Tonight plan, the thing you can do in the next 10 to 20 minutes that will meaningfully reduce your fall risk before you go to bed. Think of it in 4 phrases: clear the runway, light the path, stabilize what you grab, and remove the surprise. Clear the runway means walking your main paths through the living room and removing every loose object, shoes, baskets, cords, magazines, anything that doesn't belong on the floor between your seat and your destinations. Light the path means ensuring you can see every inch of floor when you walk, including during TV time and evening hours. Add a lamp, plug in a nightlight, adjust your existing lighting so there are no dark zones you have to walk through. Stabilize what you grab means testing every piece of furniture along your walking paths for sturdiness, and either securing wobbly pieces, moving lightweight pieces out of reaching range, or mentally noting which items should never be grabbed for support. Remove the surprise means checking for pets, scheduling robotic devices for times when you're not walking, doing a quick visual scan before you stand, and building the habit of knowing what's on your floor before your feet are moving across it. You don't have to do all of this tonight, though you could if you wanted to. But at minimum, I'd like you to fix one rug situation, secure or relocate one cord, and improve one light source. Those 3 small actions, done tonight, represent genuine protection that starts working immediately. If you found this helpful and you want more content like this, reaching the people who need it, take a moment to hit the subscribe button. It's a simple action that helps this channel continue providing practical safety information to seniors and caregivers. One quick click, and you're helping protect someone's parent or grandparent, maybe even your own future self. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with something important. Your living room should remain a comfortable, enjoyable, relaxing space. The changes I've described don't require you to strip your home down to bare floors and empty corners. They're about smart adjustments that work with your lifestyle while eliminating unnecessary risk. The alternative, a fall that leads to a fracture, a hospital stay, a loss of confidence, a spiral into reduced mobility, is devastating not just physically but emotionally. So much of our independence as we age depends on our ability to move safely through our own homes. Tonight, when this video ends, stand up slowly, use something stable for support, and walk through your living room with fresh eyes. Notice what I've described, then make a few changes. Leave me a comment telling me what you fixed. I read those comments, and they inspire me to keep making this content. Take care of yourself, take care of your space, and remember that preventing a fall is always easier than recovering from one. I'll see you in the next video.